Survival games have captured the imagination of gamers around the world by combining resource management, strategic planning, and the thrill of fighting against all odds. Whether you're stranded on a desolate island, fighting off hordes of zombies, or braving extreme climates, the survival genre offers an exhilarating experience where your wits and adaptability are put to the test. Here's a list of the top 10 best survival games everyone should play for the ultimate survival experience. Number 10, Rust. Whether you love it or hate it, it's hard to ignore the significant impact Rust has had on the survival game genre. When it was launched in 2013, there were very few games like it available. The game begins with you having nothing but a simple set of clothing, and you must work hard to acquire even a basic weapon. As you progress, you can build a large base, raid other players' bases, and battle for dominance over an island. While it's not as intense as it once was, and its community is known for harassing new players, Rust remains one of the top survival games you can play today. Number 9, Grounded.
Eat you.
When Grounded was released into early access in 2020, it introduced a concept that seemed like it should have existed earlier. The movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, had already shown that there's a whole tiny world that our normal human eyes could never grasp. So it only makes sense that this idea would make it way into a video game. Grounded took that concept and built a fully realized survival game around it. Let's face it, if you were suddenly reduced to insect size and thrown into a backyard, you'd be keen on surviving that ordeal. The foundation that Obsidian built Grounded on is typical, but solid for a survival game. The enemies are all sorts of creepy crawling creatures, and everything else is used to keep yourself alive. At number 8, Valheim. Valheim's semi-impressionist aesthetic and diverse biomes offer players a lot to explore and plunder in the 10th world of the Yggdrasil. The game contrasts calm and idyllic base building in early biomes with heart-thumping battles against giant trolls and deadly mosquitoes as you depart from the world's center. Valheim provides hours of entertainment for warriors, farmers, and architects alike. Progression in the game depends on defeating the bosses found in each biome, which in turn increases the diversity of resources you can access, crafting recipes and special abilities, like reduced damage or increased stamina. If you have the warrior spirit, Valheim is the perfect game to fight as Odin's champion and claim your place in Valhalla. Number 7, This War of Mine.
I lived through hell with these people.
This War of Mine is a survival game that stays with you long after you finish its campaign. From its gritty, down-to-earth, war-torn setting, diverse and fleshed-out characters, and a story that pulls no punches, This War of Mine is one of the most heartfelt depictions of what it's like to be a civilian trying to survive a brutal and unforgiving civil war. Its intuitive gameplay makes it easy to get lost in its morally ambiguous narrative and the tough decisions you must make to ensure your party's survival. Whether you want to play as an emphatic leader or a ruthless survivor, This War of Mine is a game you can return to many times and still find something new. Number 6, No Man's Sky. In 2016, no game was more hyped than No Man's Sky. It even crossed over from gaming spaces into the mainstream, with developers going on late-night talk shows to talk about the game before its release. It all seemed to come crashing down when it was released in August. It lacked features that people assumed would be included and offered very little in terms of gameplay, to the point where massive amounts of people demanded refunds. In the years since, No Man's Sky has continued to update, and not only is it now the game that so many of us thought we were getting in 2016, but it's also so much more. You can choose between focusing on scientific research, studying cultures and languages, hunting down sentinels, categorizing plant and animal life, or combining everything. The game is massive and a completely different journey for everyone who boots it up. Number 5, Subnautica.
Booted with one directive: to keep you alive.
Subnautica is a survival game that excels in capturing the fear and loneliness of its setting. It follows a lone survivor stranded on an alien planet who explores deep into alien waters, teeming with creatures of all sizes, many of which are massive. Throughout the game, you'll construct submarines, undersea bases, and other gear as you uncover the planet's secrets. Initially released in 2016, Subnautica is now available on most major platforms and supports VR headsets. Despite its age, the game's eerie underwater visuals still holds up well, and few survival games rival the tension of managing your dwindling food and oxygen levels as you venture into deep trenches and underwater caves. When you finally make it back to the safety of the Cyclops, it's almost always accompanied by a sigh of relief, making it an ideal survival game experience. Number 4, Don't Starve Together. Don't Starve Together is a challenging but fair game that's as addictive as its art style is engaging. Its sanity meter sets this grim gothic adventure apart from its contemporaries. Spend too much time in the dark or ignore treating your mental health for too long, and your fears will begin to manifest into shadow creatures that will end your run faster than an empty stomach. Don't Starve Together's demanding yet intuitive gameplay loop is a critical factor that contributes to its high value and replayability. When you add friends to the mix, it becomes even more enjoyable, but remember to steer clear of the dark. Number 3, The Long Dark. Suppose you're looking for something that doesn't involve science fiction or magic. Strap in and prepare for an adventure in the Canadian wilderness. The Long Dark came into the scene in 2017, but the continuous updates have made it fresh for new and old players. While there is a story mode called Wintermute, in which the last episode is still yet to be released, the real gem of the game is both in the endless survival mode and the various challenges you can choose. And while there isn't any multiplayer, it's endlessly fun to challenge your friends and see who can survive the longest in the unforgiving winter storms with wolves, bears, and moose all coming after you. Suppose you're looking for something more casual? Well, in that case, you can open up survival mode in Pilgrim difficulty and enjoy discovering parts of the map and the different items you can discover along the way. The Long Dark remains a snowy delight after all these years. Number 2, The Forest. Like almost every horror survival game, The Forest allows you to get the lay of the land before pestering you with monsters aplenty. What it does differently, however, is subvert your expectations of how these cannibal creatures react to your actions. Unlike many other video game enemies, the cannibals of the forest aren't suicidally aggressive, which makes them so unsettling. They'll run up to you, stopping just short of your reach, studying you before sprinting off, never to be seen again. N. Knight's clever AI-driven tactics have you second-guessing every move you make. Should you destroy the cannibal-built effigy? Should you burn the bodies of the slain? You don't know for sure, but what you can count on is that the creatures of the forest are always watching. Aside from its fantastic AI, the forest also offers a reasonably large island to explore, brimming with wildlife to skin and eat, berries and flowers to forage, and of course, a nearly limitless amount of trees to chop down to construct bases with freedom that's only matched by the next game on our list. With a fully interlocking cave system to delve into, tons of collectibles, and a compelling story with an insane twist ending, The Forest is an absolute must-play for any survival fan. Number 1, Minecraft.
Let's go wherever you want to go.
Minecraft is the game that shaped the bulk of the survival genre and a large part of the gaming industry as a whole. Released back in 2011, following earlier alpha and beta versions, Minecraft is the second best-selling video game of all time behind Tetris, selling over 300 million copies as of late 2023. It popularized the sandbox style of survival games, allowing players to do whatever they wanted and build anything that came to their mind. It's still a global phenomenon in 2024, and there are plenty of Minecraft spin-offs to satisfy your desire for more of the pixelated franchise. Survival games tap into the most primal instincts, pushing players to outlast, outthink, and outfight everything the game throws at them. From battling the elements in The Long Dark to taming dinosaurs in Ark Survival Evolved, each of these games offers a unique twist on the survival genre. Whether you're a fan of realistic survival or prefer a more fantastical setting, this list of the top 10 survival games guarantees hours of immersive gameplay. Dive into any of these worlds and see if you have what it takes to survive.